Right, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to another segment of the Easy Talk on Canon Fodder TV. And it's a special Easy Talk. We've got the H-Men back again. I think it's the first time the H-Men are back in the house again. But we've got Dave, who's part of a Dial Square FC. So if you remember last year, it was last year. Was it last year, Dave? It was last year.
Yeah, it was last year. Yeah, it's gone quick.
It's gone very, very quick. A sign of age, they say.
Blimey, yeah.
So we're going to be talking to Dave, actually for the majority of this show here. You can put your questions in the live chat, but keep it topical. I know we're here basically talking about Arsenal, but this is a special Easy Talk. And John Nickies, the Gooner has just joined us. John, how's it going, fella?
Evening, Gooners. We live, are we?
Hello, John.
Hey, John.
We are indeed. We're live. We're live. So let's get into this one. But we've got I've got some sad news that I need to talk about first before we go anywhere on this. Sad news: Kathy Ferguson, wife of Manchester United ex-manager Alex Ferguson, dies at age 84. Lady Kathy Ferguson, the wife of former manager, but the Bedrock, has passed away at age 84. A Glaswegian native, Kathy Holden, met her husband to be while they were working together in a typewriting factory. My goodness, 1964. They were married 2 years later and went on to raise 3 children and 12 grandchildren over the course of a relationship that endured for more than half a century. So I'm sure, fellas, you'll join me in passing our condolences to, Ferguson, Alex Fergie, and the whole family over there. Really, really sad.
Yeah,
do you want to say anything before we go on? Anyone want to say anything? No, about that?
I suppose he was the dominant figure for the early 15, 20 years of the Premier League, really. He was the up to, let's say, before Arsene Wenger came in, he dominated the thing completely. And then, we'd say, when Arsenal, maybe after the Invincibles team, when Chelsea came in, he was also their major rival. So he was, for about 20 years, they haven't won a championship since he retired. Yeah. So he's such a significant figure. And really, Pep Guardiola, I suppose, is now seen as the Alex Ferguson of this era. But I think Fergie, in some ways, particularly Celtic people, anyway, Welsh and Irish, kind of, they saw maybe a bit of themselves in him, all right. But he was a unique character, but a famously a volatile enough. And of course, he introduced Fergie time.
I actually do remember when he was manager of Aberdeen, they broke the duopoly of Celtic and Rangers, and I remember thinking, this team was good. They went a long way and won one of the European trophies, and they were doing really well. And then apparently, any people who know the Arsenal history will actually know Arsenal had him lined up to get him in as manager. I forget what happened, but I think we kind of dithered a bit, as Arsenal do a lot, and then in came Man U, and the rest is history. So he's a top manager, but of course the two things close to his heart, as well as Aberdeen and Man United, would be his dear wife, his children and grandchildren, and we send our commiserations.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
I'd like to give that family my deepest sympathy, man. That's not easy for any family. And Terry and Tim can get me on this. I believe Alex Ferguson, his wife, one was Catholic, one was Protestant. Back in the day, that was quite a radical thing. You know, you get
and the fact that
you could get
Catholic,
Yeah, you know, you could get quite a lot of stick for that back in them days. And Alex Ferguson is a working class lad that's done really well. You know what I mean? Hats off to that. Probably the best manager.
He had this kind of, I suppose, look at it, we'll go on to think more Arsenal on it, but he definitely was the triple winning team. That team was this class of '92. Although he really kind of maybe brought English football back into Europe. Joe, after obviously English teams were shoved out from the due to the hooliganism, and then they came back in. But I think he won, obviously, when he won the European Cup in '99, they put English football back to where it was. So I think in the time that they had left obviously Italian football, this famous AC Milan team, had kind of taken over, and that was seen as the top league in the world. And I'd say he made English football take over that mantle again.
Another testament to Alex Ferguson is you look at the amount of players. Sorry, John. I was going to say another testament to Alex Ferguson is look at the players that's played for him, not only at United but Aberdeen, that have gone on to be top level managers. And including his son for a bit. It's not what he achieved; it's what he passed down as well.
Yeah. Dave, do you think there's still a space for a manager like Alex Fergie in these modern times in football?
I don't know. I mean, you talk about a player now, and a player will come with the agent and it will come with a lawyer and, what you're allowed to say to these players now, I don't know. Has it changed that much? Fergie was very old school, very much the man in charge, but he seems to have turned a little bit now to player power, I feel. So would he get on? If you look at managers like Brian Clough, arguably the greatest manager we've ever seen. At the end of his time, it was starting to go the other way, and I feel really sad because the manager should run the club, in my opinion. And the player should do what the manager wants. The manager is employed to produce for the club, and when the players start getting involved, and like I say, they come with their entourage now. I think it takes a lot away from the game.
Yeah. Well said. John Geezer, are you wearing what top are you wearing? Is that a Dial Square top?
I thought I put the old Dial Square on.
Yeah.
Dave kindly. I won that. Actually, Stuart gave me that. I think last year I won it in some competition.
You won it, didn't you? Yeah.
So, I wear this with pride, man. I love it. And hold on, lads.
Oh, here comes the mugs.
Got a nice cup
I've got it
as well.
Hey!
I've got my own one.
That's the one I want, Dave. I want that one.
Sure. I'll get one to you.
Cheers, nice one. So, like I said, this is a special Easier Talk, and the last time Dave was on with Mark, we were talking about Dial Square FC and how it was created, and a lot has happened since then. Dave, do you want to, give us a kind of first?
Last season's been a bit of a roller coaster. Since we was on last time, we got about just before Christmas, and our manager decided to move on, which was a shame. Simon Martin, he got us promoted in our first full season. A few players left as well, some big names. So a little bit of turmoil, but then we got a fantastic manager in called Steve Brown. He came in and not only steadied the ship, but got us into second spot, which got us promoted up another level again, which was fantastic. The main news, I suppose, was Stuart Morgan left the club as well. He was the main man, the driving force. There he is. What he did in not just creating the club, but keeping it going was remarkable, absolutely remarkable. Unfortunately, about this time last year, he had a really nasty accident at work, which he was in hospital for a long time, and he took a long time to recover. And it left he basically had to down tools on the football. So, he's a self-employed fella. He's got his own life as well. Something had to give, so he down tools on the football side of it. So myself, Mark, and Tony Hurley, our chairman, we had a meeting to see how we could, get over this and push the club forward and keep it going. Our Stuart would have liked, obviously putting our stamp on it as well, and that's what we've managed to do.
Yeah, I imagine it's been very, very tough as well. Turmoil.
Yeah. It's me. What we've got now is Tony Hurley's our chairman. He was chairman when Stuart was there. He's got a massively successful background in financial services. We've got Andy, who's a senior communications consultant and PR specialist. So together, that gives us a fantastic angle on getting certain tasks done with professionalism and transparency, which is exactly what we need. Mark's the club secretary, and he's fantastic. He just deals with every football matter, where we're playing, what we're playing in. Is everything by the FA rules, etc. And then myself, I'm a supporter liaison controller, which means that I'm sort of like the go-between between the board and the fans. We felt it was massively important being a fan-owned club. We just needed that bridge. So if supporters can come to me rather than the board getting 300 questions at once, come through me. I can answer most of them myself. And similarly, if the board need to pass something back, it can come through me or also Andy that does a lot of our media work as well. And that's what we're doing going forward. And it's just giving us a little bit more professionalism, if I'm going to be honest, and it's a little bit simpler as well.
Yeah. And before opening up to the other guys, Dave, maybe a silly question, but if somebody came along with a bucket load of money, wanting to invest or buy Dial Square, what are your thoughts about that? Having one person owning Dial Square FC?
Well, I don't like that. There isn't at the moment. There's 74 of us that have got a part of it. What happened was, if you remember last time I spoke about the Dial Square Enterprise, which was a company set up by Stuart, that the fans bought into every season, and that controlled 15% of the club. And as the club was going to get bigger, then Stuart was going to release more and more and more of it to the fans until at till the point where we were 100% fan owned. At one point last year, we put it to the fan owners that the enterprise, for the money it was costing, there was so much legal stuff involved with it. It was a properly run company, and it just wasn't commercially viable, financially viable to keep it running with the money it was bringing in. So we decided that money would be much better off in Dial Square. We put it to the fan owners, and they voted to support that. So what we did, before Stuart left, he disbanded the enterprise. And I have to say a big thank you to Andreas as well, who was the chairman of the enterprise and worked tirelessly to keep that going. We then came up with a share option scheme. Tel, do you remember you mentioned the Wimbledon one?
Yeah.
It's similar to that, but there was money put into the club. The money that we had in the club, we converted into shares and allowed the fans to buy the shares in varying amounts, and that's what we've got at the moment. So we've got 74 shareholders, if you like, that own a part of the club. It's about just under 25% of Dial Square at the moment is fan owned. The enterprise was 15%, so we've already grown it a little bit. And that is how it's running at the moment. There will be the share options is closed at the moment. And what we've also done is protect it from, let's give you an example. Say those wonderful people at AFTV came in with a bucket load of money, right, and said, we want to buy this. Can't do it. We're all protected against it. The share option was a limited time offer. We put it forward to our fan owners and the people that follow us on social media first. That's now closed. And then we're looking at next season and what we can do and continue down that road to grow the fan ownership a little bit more.
Dave, have you ever thought of piggybacking on a current club that has all the ground and you go in alongside them and try and bring in? I know at the moment there aren't a lot of people going to matches, but it seems to me you're trying to build it from ground zero. That's very hard. And I think you're in Chertsey now, aren't you? You're not near Woolwich.
We are in Chertsey. We're using their ground. Their facilities are fantastic, both for the players and for the fans. It's easy to get to. It's central to the league we're in. So we're using them at the moment. We haven't really got any plans to piggyback anybody, to be honest. We want our own identity. We've got a ridiculous fan base. It is a ridiculously brilliant, wide fan base. Some of our shareholders, we've got shareholders now in Finland, America, Australia, Canada, Germany. For a step outside, that's ludicrous.
Yeah,
but brilliantly ludicrous.
The problem, you just aren't getting the sort of punters in through the turnstiles.
Well, it don't matter at the moment because we can't charge anyway. We're step 8. You can't charge anything till step 6. So we've still got 2 years minimum at the moment where we can build the fan base. The game on Saturday, we had over 100 supporters. Most of our core were down in Bournemouth, and we had a train strike, and we still pulled in over 100 supporters at step 8,
So
which was fantastic.
you're on tier 8, is it? So going up to the EPL at tier 1, is it?
Yes. Well, if the Premiership's number 1, we're tier 12.
Tier
So
12.
step 8 of the non-league pyramid. Yeah.
Gotcha.
National League being step 1.
Yeah. It occurs to me that somehow, without the thing sort of dribbling away, you need somehow to sort of get placed closer to Arsenal, not on the doorstep, not in Islington or anywhere, but there will be a lot of fans who, when Arsenal are playing away and they know that Dial Square are at home, if it was a quick run in the car or a quick tube journey, they'd go, oh yeah, I'll go down and see them. Whereas at that moment, I had to even look it up, and I thought, Chertsey, that's a long way out. And before then, it was Woolwich or somewhere that you were in. It feels to me like you're not close enough to. I know all Arsenal fans come from all over the world. I've been in many cup finals when you chat to them, and they go, I'm from Wolverhampton, and I'm from. One bloke was from Scotland somewhere. So the fan base is massive, but an awful lot of people are in that kind of North London area. So have you ever thought of doing some sort of a relocation there?
We've looked at all sorts of options, but one thing you've got to remember is at the moment we're not pulling in any money. Like we've just mentioned, we haven't got a gate, and we can't just tip up in London and go, yeah, we're playing here. You know, land's at a premium, the prices are ridiculous. How are we going to maintain that for a start? You know, at the moment we're a Surrey-based club. You know, that's where our fan base is coming from. That's where the players are. If we suddenly upped and moved, and don't get me wrong, we will move one day. Where? Who knows, in my lifetime, perhaps sooner. We recognise the fact that if we're going to keep going with this project, we can't stay at Chertsey. We do need to find our own ground. But, you know, lands at a premium anywhere in the M25 is crazy. And how at our level are we going to sustain that with no money coming in?
No, I mean, it occurs to me, and I'm looking much broader now, that if you had some ex-players, Flamini and all these guys that are absolutely minted, if you had a group of them who backed your sort of project, and the deal was that they'd pump in a serious amount of cash, and but they were never allowed to have more than, say, 30% of the club once they put in their money, you know, then maybe it would kickstart it a bit more. I just feel what I'm worried about is if this doesn't take off the ground after a few seasons, especially, I know it's a terrible thing to say, but if Arsenal are doing well, you'll probably get less people interested. And as soon as we had all that furore with Kroenke, a lot of people like myself were really keen on getting involved in a Phoenix Arsenal club. And I still think there's that I did a bit of homework, and I did look up there is a Main Road FC, which is a Phoenix Man City. There is, what's the team they call it? United FC of Manchester or something. So that's a Man U one, and quite a lot of Brentford apparently. I didn't know this until recently. They were kind of largely fan owned, and then this guy came in and offered money and bought it out. I just get the feeling if you could get like a sugar daddy, i.e. a group of ex-players who have the spare cash, could put together and kickstart the sort of whole thing, and then you could go places, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's something for the board to discuss. The thing is as well, it's no good having all this set up if we ain't doing it on the pitch. That's what we need to concentrate on. You know, we need to win games and get out of the leagues. We can have all the set up if we like. You know, we can have the best ground. You know, we can have this, that, and the other. It's no good if we're playing in step 10 all of a sudden.
Yeah, but
because the results ain't going with us.
That's very, very difficult. I've got a mate who might be tuned in today. He supports Banbury United, you know, but they're probably several tiers higher, but they find it difficult to hold on to managers, to hold on to good players. The danger is other clubs, a tier or two above you, will keep cherry picking your players. And what I'm coming at is, can't we give it all a massive boost so that suddenly, bang, you've got a ground a bit nearer to North London. You've got some spare cash to go and attract better players and so on. I mean, are your players being paid, for instance, now?
No, there's no money. Dial Square do not pay players.
Oh, right.
There's no money at step 8. They play because they want to play.
Yeah.
That won't come until we start. Like I say, step 6 is when the money starts becoming a becoming an issue as far as taking money at the gate and paying it out.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. Sorry, lads, for hogging this, but I can see the way, and I've spoken about this on Cannon Fodder many times. The Kroenke Arsenal is not the Arsenal you knew, or I knew, or John knew, or any of his team. Yeah. You know, it's a different baby. This is, and this is a multinational club. Deep down, Stanley Kroenke is not particularly worried about actually what he called us. This is a phrase: legacy fans. Now, as soon as they give you a title, they put you into a box. And they'll go, "Oh yeah, Terry, he's a legacy fan. John, he's a legacy fan. Dave, and all that." And Alex. What I can see is Arsenal becoming an international club. Fine, work away. But in the meantime, what we want, and we can talk about this a little later, myself and Tim are involved in what you call grassroots sport here in Ireland, where everybody's an amateur. Yeah. They do it for pure love. They have some link with the area that the sort of club is in, you know, and all those things are, to me, that's a good breeding ground for a good club, albeit we might be 5 or 6 tiers below, but we can build from that, do you know?
Yeah, one thing I just want to add to that is, and I know you didn't mean it this way, but I must emphasise this point to people that are listening. We're not against Arsenal. We're not anti-Arsenal. We're not going up against them. We can't, and secondly, we wouldn't. If we were anti-Arsenal, we wouldn't exist. We're not a phoenix club. You know, Arsenal haven't died. No one's risen from the ashes, and we're not a protest against Arsenal. You know, we're Arsenal fans. It was set up, and it's always been set up this way as an option. So if you're disillusioned with the elite game, if it's the money, if it's the tickets, whatever, here's an option for you. That's why we're always set up. We're not going up against Arsenal. So when we mention Kroenke, it's not Kroenke's Arsenal. You're right. We accept that. The game's changed. You know, the money ain't going to come out anytime soon. But what we have got is an option for those that are either disenchanted or struggling or whatever. And that's where we want to keep our identity, if you like.
Tim, a different sport, you know, hurling. How does it compare
It's
administrative-wise?
very similar to it in the sense that we're a club here. It's all amateur-based, amateur players. We have an underage system. We're obviously developing those players to come up through the ranks. We have our own astroturf, our own field. People pay membership. We have a gym. There's people that can use that. But ultimately, Dave, it's the very same. The manager of the team doesn't get paid. The elite players or the players playing in the senior adult team, no one gets any money. But of course, that's the GA to the top level. But it's community based, and people are there because they love it. And to be honest, Dave, kind of listening to you there, Jim, it fills me up with hope, you know, that sort of initiative can be taken on by 75 people. And it was a famous club in North America. It was called Rockland GA, and 75 members went in. Some of them famous, they didn't even tell their wives. They all went in, they got loans for 30,000, and they ended up spending whatever it was, close to €1 million, and they bought a ground and they developed it. And I'd say that's very similar to what you've done here. People that were genuine football supporters kind of rallied around. They got themselves, and like you say, at this stage, it's nothing to do with money. It's all about getting promoted, get to the next league, playing good football, and everyone enjoying it. So, look, Dave, I'd like to wish you the best. And to me, it seems like a really honest endeavour and reach, kind of a certain amount of, you'd have to admire it at several levels.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's the whole point. We want to put the fun back into it. Yeah. You know, was it George Best famously said, you know, he used to look around, and at the end of his career, there was no one smiling in the crowd. He said, you know, people go to football for an escape, but they go there to enjoy themselves. Yeah. You know, if you take that out, then what you got?
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want fans to be, you know, want them to feel like they've got a part to play, giving them a voice, being an integral part of the club, and watch some Saturday football.
Yeah. And people identify, like, obviously Terry was very rare in the shadow of the Highbury Stadium. Like, but you know what I mean? But so that was the Arsenal of his era. It was local lads playing it, and I'd say, I don't know if Terry obviously answered himself, but I presume that earlier teams and those players, you probably have an affinity to those. You probably
I was at school with John Matthews, who played for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I met Brian McDermott's parents. He was originally from the Slough area, and they became friends. You know, you'd bump into these people either at school or at work or whatever, and you'd meet their brother. Or Charlie George went to Holloway School, for instance. You know, in fact, a cousin of mine used to be his girlfriend when they were about 14 or 15. And he said to Pat, he said, I can't take you out next week, because he used to meet every week to go to the film or something. She said, why not, Charlie? He says, oh, I'm training. And she said, training? Training? What do you mean training? He said, I played for the Arsenal youth team. That's the first Pat had ever heard of it, you know. So there was that affinity with the local area. Now, I know things move on. Of course they do. But the one thing that you've got that Arsenal no longer have, really, is that close affinity with, all right, we all sing, you know, North London forever. But when I sat there, I had a season ticket up in West Upper, and I'd have a fella from Berlin next to me one day. Then the next week, it'd be a fella from Milan. And I'm going, how much do you pay for that ticket? And of course, they were getting them on whatever ticket market there are, paying an absolute fortune. Yeah. And I'm thinking, my kid can't go to this. I can't get in. I can't afford it. He's still a school kid. And yet, and it just felt wrong. Yeah. That the lifeblood, like Tim and I will go to a match, and then our kids will go to a match, and then here in hurling, like, and they can all come along. But you can't do that now. If John wanted to take a kid or his I don't know, his friends, I mean, it just doesn't happen. And that, when you lose that link with the local area, then you're going wrong fast. And it won't be long before we have Arsenal America, Arsenal New York, and all of that stuff. Okay, it's not going to happen in the blink of an eye, but believe me, it's not far away. And I then hopefully Dial Square will be in a situation where they can begin to sort of mop up those supporters who want to see who want the link with the local people, not people coming from all parts of Europe and the States, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dial Square not doing too bad, Dave. I think we're top of the table.
We're on top of the table. We had a there you go. 100% records. We had a big pre-season. We had 10 pre-season games. Steve Brown, the manager, and Matt Bunyan, his assistant, got a cracking bunch of lads together. And we had 10 friendlies. We played a lot in Guildford because we didn't want to play at Chertsey because their season started earlier, and they were obviously involved in FA Vars and FA trophies. And what we didn't want to do is arrange friendlies. They get drawn at home, and we got to then make last-minute arrangements, which is not fair for the fans, not fair for the players, not fair for the opposition, anything. So we played a lot in Guildford. We played we're step 8. We played predominantly step 6, 7, and 7, 6, and 5 step teams, and we only lost the once. We won 7 convincingly as well. We drew the 2 and only lost the 1, and we hit the bar in the last minute of that one as well. But it really we really hit the ground running on the back of that, you know, fitness levels and ability wise, and the team is just so together. And we've won our first 5, which is fantastic. But we're under no illusions, you know. There's plenty of teams out there that can turn us over. There's plenty of teams that see us with a big target on our back that would love to turn us over. So we're just going to keep our feet on the ground, keep working hard. Like I say, Steve and Matt are doing a brilliant job. The lads are all together, and it's just hard work and keeping their feet on the floor, and hopefully that will continue.
Yeah. And are you guys going to Arsenal matches?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Most of them are. I haven't been. I'm going to lie, right? I haven't been regularly since 2010. Obviously, of course, you go back. You know, once it's in your blood, it's in your blood, isn't it? It's like a light switch; you can't turn it on and off. But yeah, there's most of the crowd last week. We were missing regulars because I was down at Bournemouth. If our game clashes with one at the Emirates, we know there's going to be people missing because they still go. We're all Arsenal fans. You know, and that will never, ever change. We're all Arsenal fans. And yeah, of course we still go.
Yeah. So, Dave, I'm going to give you a couple of wishes, right, that you would like for Dial Square FC. What would be your 2 wishes?
My 2 wishes, before I croak it off this planet, I want to see FA Cup 3rd round, Dial Square v Arsenal down at our place.
Oh,
There you go.
You know,
Yeah.
we'll rough the pitch up. None of this carpet. We'll rough the pitch up, and for 2 reasons. I'd like to see us obviously in that situation, Dial Square, because a lot of people have already put a hell of a lot of hard work into this club, and a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort. And if we get to that stage, then that'll be the end goal, really. You know, playing league football at that level. And also, if there's any Arsenal fans that don't know what we're about, they can come down to our place and see what we're about. You know, we all know what Arsenal's about, but you know, come and have a look at us. Second wish, blimey, I don't know. Does it have to be to do with football? Because I'm really struggling.
No, it doesn't have to be.
Arsenal win the Champions League. That's one thing I haven't seen. We nearly saw it.
You can't have that, Dave. Sorry, mate.
Nearly saw it. Well, it's one wish. I can wish whatever I want, and that will do it. If I get Arsenal win a European or whatever it'll be called, then I don't know, Champion stroke Saudi League, whatever they're going to call it.
Yeah, probably.
And Dial Square Arsenal 3rd round FA Cup. That'll do, mate.
Lovely, jubbly. Don Gouda, you a bit quiet there, mate. What's going on with you?
No, I'm listening. I'm listening to the boys. I'm taking it all in. I've got to give Dave and his mates respect, because anyone organising grassroots football, it's all voluntary. It's all hard graft and pure love of the game. You know what I mean? They love the game, so that's your main thing.
True.
If I
and it's loads you don't realise as well. There's so much you don't realise as well. Something, you know.
Oh, there's admin and everything, isn't there? I'll give you a hell of a lot of red tape. Yeah, there's certain parameters you have to deal with. The one that got me last season is you get fined for not providing refreshments for the away team at half time and full time, so you can get fined twice. Oh dear.
It's just little things like that. You got to have someone who can do it, and you ain't got to worry about it.
Blimey.
You know, it's just little things like that on top of everything else that goes with it. But you know, we're learning fantastically. You know, what we're doing at the moment is, and I'm not going to be. I suppose I'm a little bit biased, but what we've got set up, I feel personally, it's miles ahead of anything else that we've got at our level. It really is. It's just so professional and transparent. We're running it as a viable business. You know, not in that sense, but so the fans have got something, and it's got longevity as well. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
we don't want to do all this, and then the next season we go, oh, where do we go from here? You know, we got plans. We had a 5-year plan to get to step 6. We got plans after that. So yeah, we're going in the right direction, and it's going really well as well.
Lovely job,
Alex. Can I just give a little mention, right, to the club, my local club, Enfield. So I used to go and watch them a lot. They got turned over, sold out, stadium, everything, blah de blah. Anyway, they were like nomads for 10 years. They had a club, but they never had a stadium. But the fans always wanted that club reunited, and eventually someone in there, it's become it's a fan-based club. They're back at Donkey Lane. I don't know if you know that. It's the athletics track down on the A10 Enfield. But they started low, right down in the lower leagues, worked their way up. Now they're nearly getting 1,000 fans. You know what I mean? That don't sound a lot. It don't sound, but to them, it is
brilliant.
a lot.
That's brilliant.
Next week, they're in the FA Cup again, and they're one step away from the first round. Now, if they get in that first round, that's a lot of money going to them. Do you know what I mean, Dave? But that will really help them out. But what clubs like yourself has got, and Enfield do have a lot of Arsenal and a lot of Spurs fans because where they are, North London. But what they've got there, you can turn up with your dog. You can turn up in a wheelchair, go by the front. You know, you can bring your mum, your nan, you can bring your mates. You can go and have a drink with the players in the director's room at half time. Or it ain't like Arsenal, mate. But
yeah, we got our clubhouse at Chertsey. We got a clubhouse pitch side by the halfway line. As long as you got a plastic glass, you can drink while you're watching the football.
That's what they've got.
Pitch
Bang
side
in the
the stand.
halfway line. They've got a little clubhouse. You can go there, have your pint, bring your pint to the thing. I think our keeper a couple of years ago got in bother because one of the fans gave him a pint for a laugh during the game while he's up the other end, and he took a sip out of it, didn't he? I think they got a lot of trouble for that. But do you know what I mean? That's the sort of community spirit it is. You know what I mean? And I think grassroots football clubs like yourself, once they get going, all right. Terry says about going near Arsenal. I suppose, yeah, realistically, maybe that'd be all right, but it might not be only Arsenal fans that are coming to watch you now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We got all sorts.
You might, because let's face it, the Arsenal fans that are going to the games now, most of them are season ticket holders. A lot of them are tourists, and the rest we're just like, it's a lottery to get a ticket in that ballot thing or whatever. So there is a big market for other fans to come and watch a club like yourself. I always say, go and watch your local community club. Wherever you live, whatever team you support, go and watch them, because you're supporting your local team, giving a bit to the economy. And I'll tell you what, it's just as good an experience as going to the Emirates. Honestly, for me it is, because you go and see, I ain't seen that geezer for years, you know what I mean? And have a pint with him. You can watch the games on telly and everything. But
I like the old North Bank days. On the old North Bank, you stand in one place, you be there with your mates, and then you go and talk to another little group, and then you be talking to another little group. You didn't know their names, you knew their faces, and you just talk to everybody. And then, like you've mentioned, Terry, bloke from Milan, bloke from, where was it, Berlin? Know, down at non-league, down at Dole, down all the non-league grounds, especially where we got you can have a nice pint by the side of the ground and just chat to people. You're not limited. It's like back in the old days.
It was all about supporting your local club, weren't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was our local club. It ain't now. It's a global business. Do you know what I mean? So I do know for a fact there's a lot of gooners now, and they do go and support wherever they live. They will go and support their local team. Do you know? Because basically they can't get tickets. But like Terry says, legacy fans, they're not interested in us. I don't know why, because we still got kids, we've got grandkids that will go and buy their shirts or whatnot. But we're of no interest in them. They
you know what, John? Do you ever remember about 3 or 4 seasons ago when we played Cologne, and Cologne hadn't played in the European competitions for a long time, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And when I came up out of Arsenal Tube Station, they said the kickoff's delayed because loads of Cologne supporters have turned up and stormed the turnstiles. So fine, I got into the ground.
Oh yeah.
And do you remember? I got into the ground and they said, like, instead of whatever it was, 7:45 kickoff, it was going to be 8:30. So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll have a bit of a walk around. And I found myself on the lower tier at the clock end, and that bottom bit there, I said to everybody around me, "What's this called?" They said it's the OAPs, right? and they said you can bring your grandson or something, but the view was absolutely awful. The rain could be dripping down the sort of back of your neck if you're up the front, and I'm thinking, for the amount we pay, this isn't enough. You can go and see a West End show for a fraction of the price that you can go and see Arsenal. Okay, yes, it's all about. People ask me about tickets, and I say, well, you won't get tickets for the really big games. But I remember quite a few games over the years that it was on a Wednesday or something, and you'd be working hard at work, and it was bitterly cold, this December, January time, and you'd go, well, I'll go and see them. And then I remember after one match, I went out, and it must have been 10:30, 11:45, and they kind of only allow you enough time to finish a pint. That's fine. I've got myself a pint, and I'm standing there. My hand was freezing cold, nowhere to sit. This is West Upper. You're kicked out of the seating area after the final whistle. And I'm talking to another couple of lads, and all of us were like shivering. And I'm thinking, this is elite football. And okay, maybe you're not paying that much in the regular part of the stadium. And I know the last year I went there, I decided to splash out on a club level ticket. Well, that's lovely. Free, all the drink you can drink at half time. You're in the heat before half time and after the match. You can stay for 2 hours. They have music playing. They have live bands. And I'm thinking, but the way the average fan is treated is, I think, for elite soccer, is poor, man.
But you know what I love most about grassroots football, Dave? There's no VAR.
Oh,
Yay!
what a blessing. What a blessing. Well, that's proved one thing. It don't improve the game.
Yeah.
I've got, that thing with Liverpool, they're all crying for a replay. That's accommodating the problem. It ain't dealing with the issue. No. They've got to bin it. Just have goal line technology. Was it in, was it out? That's all you need. Leave everything else up to the ref, whatever colour they are in now, red, green, mauve. And the other thing as well, I reckon, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I reckon they should start checking betting player regularities.
Oh, yes.
My granddad always said to me, wherever you got big money, you got big crime. And I'm convinced there's something going on. You can edit that out, or is it live? Oh, it's live. Never mind, it's in. But I'm convinced.
I do apologise if you've heard this story before, but in one of our glory years, when we won the league, I can't pinpoint the exact year, but you can look it up. We played Wimbledon away in late September, right? And we were going really strong. We were at the top of the league, everything fine. And we were 1-0 down at half time. All right. And it was on telly. So I'm watching it on telly. I didn't go down to Plough Lane as it was at the time. And the players are lining up to kick off. And suddenly, light failure. All the lights went. Yeah.
That was Selhurst Park. I was at that game.
Was that Selhurst Park?
It was Selhurst Park. I reckon it was the old half-time, full-time betting, didn't they?
What they found out later, because we didn't play them again until the sort of new year when we were on a roll, and we sort of beat them easily. But people forget we were 1-0 down. Now, what they found out was somebody, and they don't know who, but I bet they have a list of names it could have been, that had access to the big fuse box, and there must be massive fuse boxes for floodlights. Somebody removed, or it fell out of the fuse box and it wasn't found. Now, and then they suddenly linked it then with Far East betting. In the Far East, it's really big. But by then, a season or two had gone by, and no newspaper, because they're all in on this, no newspaper made a big thing about it, right? Because if you hit the integrity of the game, there's no game.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can remember being at a game. I don't know if you remember it. I don't think it was Arsenal, but John Hartson took a centre. He kicked off and just whacked it straight out over the dugouts. You could bet on first throwing, couldn't you?
Yeah, Letizia said.
Letizia did the same, didn't he?
He must have said, look, if we get the centre, we'll have a throwing.
Yeah.
It's easily done.
Oh, yeah. It's funny, yeah.
Well, they do it in cricket.
All that betting on corners, throw-ins, ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've got about Ivan Toney coming in. If he's been caught once, how do you know he's not been up to that for a long time?
Yeah, but he's not the only one. He's not the only one.
No.
It's a little drop in the.
Being pressured? Who's being pressured by these big gangs? Who's being pressured?
A lot of football clubs are sponsored by betting firms, aren't they? What do they expect?
What are all these things inside the jersey?
I think gambling and betting is rife in football. It's always been like that. Cards. Who was not Fowler? Who was the Man United player, wasn't it, or the Liverpool player that was doing it? I
think Paolo Rossi, wasn't it? Paolo Rossi before the World Cup was inside when he for doing it or something. He come back Paolo Rossi before the World Cup, 82, and he come out and turned up the top scorer.
Yeah, I think
I used to have a mate next to me. I used to have this mate next to me, very clever guy, pharmacist and all that, but he loved the bet. and we'd moved to the East Stand upper tier in the old stadium. And about halfway through the second half, we went a goal down. And the next minute, he picks up his mobile phone and he phoned somebody, and it was obviously a betting shop or something. And he said, "What are the odds for Arsenal winning 2-1?" And the bloke must have said 30-1 or 12-1 or whatever. And he went, "Right, I'll have a tenner on that." And after that, I noticed all the time he was betting all the time
during matches.
Oh, during matches.
But like, is the fun not gone out of it then? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not being smart. If you're there to watch football, you're there to watch good players do. But like, if you're waiting for a throw in, or you're waiting for, oh no, we're ahead now. Or just hold it, close it down. No, you're not watching football then. It's just you might as well put the money on the stock market and watch that.
Well, if I had my way, I'd stop all that betting on like that and just leave it as betting on the result and the
As soon as I kick off.
Guys, let's go into live chat. Let's go into live chat for the first time, and maybe the first and last time actually this evening. So we've got our moderator Ashadi says, "Hey up, Gooners." He also follows it up by saying, "Rest in peace, Kathy Ferguson." And we've got Mike Draper is in the live chat.
Hi, Mike.
He says attendance 105.
105.
Is that what it was? Yeah, brilliant. And Manicroft brought their share as well. That was a good thing about it. It felt like a good atmosphere.
Yeah,
I must say, well done on Manicroft. They brought about, I don't know, 25. You reckon? 25 fans.
Wow.
A little bit of an atmosphere.
What's the capacity, Dave?
Churches 3,500. I think something around 3,500.
Well, I can see an outing coming, lads. Cannon fodder goes to Dial Square.
Yeah, we'll look after you. Be more than welcome.
Well, I was supposed to make the journey last year and I couldn't.
Okay.
Have the Spurs fans.
I will do. What's that, John?
Dave, have the Spurs fans got a club like yours?
No, not the well. I haven't even bothered looking. I don't look at anything to do with them. What's the old saying? If they were playing at the bottom of the garden, I'd draw the curtains. I really don't care.
I was just thinking that'd be a good game to get a good crowd going. You know what I mean?
That would be. Well, I think Hackney haven't Hackney got a side. I think they got a non-league side. I think they're a couple of levels above us. That's probably the closest.
Yeah,
but sorry, Haringey. Haringey.
Oh wow.
But it just brings me on to another point, because people say to me all the time, have you got Tottenham fans in the club? No, we haven't. I just want to make that clear. We haven't, and hopefully it stays that way. But my bigger point is how disillusioned are you with the elite game if you go and support a team that's predominantly something to do with your main rivals? That's one point we always say. Everyone's welcome down at our place. It's free to get in. Everyone's welcome. We don't interview you on the gate. But yeah, everyone's welcome.
Yeah. There's a question here for you from Mike. He says, does Terry know any ex-players, he knows a lot, who you could send them down to watch Dial Square?
Right. Listen, we've got Peter Marinello, who's down in Bournemouth. We got John Matthews, who's down in Cornwall. Right. I was at school with him. Let me try and think. I'm lost touch with Brian McDermott, but there probably is somewhere along the line. Actually, my son was at school with a kid called Jeffrey Monacana, and my son Michael was doing his A levels, right? And he came with me. I managed to get the ticket next to me, off the woman next to me. And he said, and after the main Arsenal match, they said, now we're going to put on our youth team. And on comes Jeffrey Monacana at 16, 17, maybe 17, I think, at the time. And my son was struggling to do A levels, and and it was a tough old gig, And he knew Jeffrey well, and Jeffrey was earning £1,000 a week, man, and he didn't make it into the first team, but he had a career. And the last I heard of him, he was down in Plymouth. But it's a whole different ball game. But there are players about, but they're in terms of well-known players. Well, I do know the pitch and putt course where George Graham and Frank McClintock play, but I don't know whether they're mobile enough to get down to Chertsey. Maybe they are. If I see them, I'll ask them.
We have had a course of Cup Winners' Cup winner play for us a couple of times last season.
Who's that?
That's
Where
right.
Ian Selly playing for us.
Oh yeah.
He made a cut and he scored from the halfway line as well. He can still put it on a 20p coin. His legs might have gone, but his brain certainly hasn't. Pleasure to watch him. But yeah, he made a couple of appearances for us. But as far as ex-players, we have tried. I know our chairman. He's got some links to some players. I don't know if there's some weird thing like they're under contract, and not allowed to be seen, or I don't know. There might be something to do with that. I'm not sure, but
funny you
it's definitely something we can look into.
I think they do have that. What's that contract called? It's like a gagging contract.
Yeah.
And I noticed that this season, I don't know if this is the elephant in the room. Have you noticed that Steve Round suddenly went at the start of this season? Nobody knows why. So there's probably a backroom row, and he's probably said to Arteta, he's probably stood up. This is conjecture, that he may have stood up to Arteta and said, "You're too predictable. You're too this." And suddenly Steve Round's gone, So, but you won't ever find out because these players, these coaching staff, are paid an absolute fortune to sort of keep their And I only hear stuff from people whose my son's plays in the 7-a-side team with guys whose parents work for the Arsenal, so I get the gossip through them.
Yeah, but you know what? Might forget about ex-Arsenal players. We'll come down. We'll come down and support the Dial squad.
Yeah, exactly. Perhaps Arsenal will be up for a couple of Dial players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go the other way.
Never know. Never know in a few years.
There you go.
I think concentrating on your local fan base is a good idea at the moment. Anyway.
Yeah.
Concentrate all about on the local gooners in your area. Get them interested and build it on. Build from there.
That'd be a great.
Yeah. That's like I say. We got 2 years before step 6. We've really got to strike. That's when we can take money at the gate. So that's what it's all about. And of course, the main thing, we've got to do it on the pitch.
Yeah, that's the one.
We've got to have something for them to watch and cheer on, and do well. It's not worth having everything behind the scenes, like I say, if we ain't doing it on the pitch.
Yeah.
I think, Dave, when we come down, we're going to probably stream or broadcast live on our platform.
Good
idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be good. Let us know, and like I say, we'll look after you. No problem.
Nice one. Just get me the mug, the red one, the red mug.
Yeah, I've got one of these.
Yay!
One of them. There you go, John. You got your way one. There you go.
I've got the Tottenham one.
What's happening there?
Oh, he's gone.
Sorry.
Swap shop.
Gone dizzy.
Swap shop. And Mike says, so many people can't get tickets to see Arsenal. Come and join like-minded fans at the Dial. There you go. You've been told. Oh, what's happening there? He's popped out again. Oh. What's this?
That's definitely not me.
We've even got a Fulham supporter.
We've got a Fulham season ticket holder.
Oh, very good.
Wow.
And he's a good bloke. Yeah, he's a good bloke. See, the thing is with non-league, John, you probably see the same at non-league. Before I got involved with Dial, I used to go to Tooting and Mitcham, and you stand next to Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans, you name it. It's not. It's like you say, it's more of a local thing where you live locally. It doesn't matter who you support. It doesn't matter, who your main team is. It's all about the community.
We get all sorts over there, women, old ladies, disabled, people that dog. It's just a community, do you know what I mean?
That's more accessible.
And they all love football. They all really know their football. There's a difference between fans and supporters, shall I say, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here, look, I'm at Arsenal, I'm at the Emirates here, look at me. These people really know their stuff when you go over there, and it's great. It's all part of the community, you know. I think, Dave, another thing, excuse me, going on, but I think if you get someone doing your social media that sort of way, TikTok and what's it called? Instagram, that sort of thing. You might even be doing it. I don't know.
We're on it. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on. The other thing I was going to say is Pitch Hero on our website. And this is where Andy comes in. So he's fantastic with this. If you log into Pitch Hero and get and log into there and put your email address in there, then you'll get all our updates, our email updates direct from the club. But yeah, we're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on, I can't remember the one. What's the one that just does the photos? Flickr. We're on that. So yeah, we got plenty of platforms that we're working with.
Yeah, that's a good way of generating fans.
Yeah. Brilliant. Do you know what? We've come to an end on this special Easy Talk with Dave. Send me mug. I want a mug.
I will do.
Yeah, lovely, jubbly.
I'll send
guys,
no problem.
Thank you so very much. And actually, Dave, I forgot to leave the link to. You've got a website as well, haven't you?
We have, dialsquarefc.com. Do you want me to mention the game tomorrow as well? We're playing.
Yeah.
I was going to say we got a cup. We're in the first round of the cup tomorrow.
Oh, very good.
We are away to Barnes. It's dead opposite on the other side of the river at Craven Cottage.
Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah.
Down there at the Barnhill Sports Centre. 3:30 kick-off. Again, free to get in. If you want to come down, any South London Gooners. If you want to be in, we'll be more than happy to see you as usual.
Lovely jubbly. And that's it. H-Men. Tim, Chelsea.
Boys, we're off tomorrow to a semi-final, right?
That's right, yeah.
That we're in a little place in East Clare in the Republic of Ireland called Scariff, and our local team, and Tim has been training these guys since they were young teenagers, and they're in the county semi-final. And I think somebody told me the other day they haven't won it since 1953 or something.
70 years.
Well, good luck tomorrow.
All the best. Sound like Tottenham. They get on with it.
Best of luck tomorrow, Dave.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
All right, and that's it. The next time you'll see me will be on Monday. I don't think my brother will be doing the watch along for the game on Sunday against Chelsea. City. Yeah. Anyway, Dave, you're always welcome on the channel, mate. Always welcome.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us on. Nice to meet you again, gentlemen.
So we'll talk about broadcasting live from one of your matches before the season is done. But guys, it's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast. Anyhow, guys, that's it. So from what was it John the Geezer Gooner with the colours. Hey!
Dial Square. Have they got a song, Dave?
I've got to mention our sponsor as well, Matty Woods.
There you go.
They've given us a bit of sponsorship for the next 2 years, which is very, very appreciative. And it's left us in a very strong financial position. So I've got to mention Matty Woods.
Well, Dave, can you tell us what Matty Woods does? What service they provide?
They're one of the leading wealth management and employee benefit companies in the UK. They're based in Leicester. They do. I think Leicester Tigers play at the Matty Woods Stadium. And they also, I'm not sure if they still do, but they did have a little bit of sponsorship with Aberdeen up in Scotland.
Oh wow!
So we're more than very, very pleased that they're on board with us.
Well, let's hope in 10 years' time they'll be pleased that they sort of joined in with this.
Yeah.
And we're up Division 3 or whatever.
Dave, I think merchandise could be key as well, because what we've been in the Dial Square. A lot of the old legacy Gooners love all this stuff. Do you know what I mean? So
the shirts are online. If you go onto our website, the shirts are online. We got the mugs. We're looking at bits and pieces, but what we don't want to do is come up with a load of stuff, and all of a sudden it's, we want to keep the cost down as well. The mugs we got on sale at games because we got some ridiculous quotes in sending them to the UK, and it just, we didn't think it was fair charging people what we'd have had to charge. So we're still looking. But there will be plenty of merchandise coming out. We've got a few ideas hopefully coming out when the weather gets colder. Something to keep you warm on the touchline. Watch this space.
Nice one. Anyhow, this has been a Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this